For me and my understanding, our language is our connection to our ancestors. So as we learn and speak our language, we better understand how our ancestors see the world. So it's very important for us to continue revitalizing, strengthening, growing our language into the future so that future generations can also understand how our ancestors see the world. Buju, buju, Niigaanii-Animikii Inini, Indigenous Makwa Ndodem, Nimbawadago Waninyo, Ahomigwech. So I say, my name is Niigaanii-Animikii Inini. I'm Bear Clan and a member of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians. I'm a filmmaker. I'm also serving the Red Cliff tribe as their language culture coordinator. And thirdly, I'm a researcher, mostly with Ojibwe language revitalization. And I saw a posting on Facebook calling for applications to audition for roles in Star Wars: A New Hope, Ojibwe dubbing. And I felt like it brought everything in together for me. And my experience is mostly in film production and direction. And I've been wanting to expand into acting and voice acting. So this was an excellent opportunity. I'm honored to give voice to Red Leader, played by the late Drew Henley. Ever since I was a kid, I was a big fan of Star Wars, and I'm very passionate about Ojibwe language revitalization. It just made perfect sense to apply, and thankfully they wanted me in it. Like many Ojibwe families, I did not grow up speaking or hearing our language. It hasn't been spoken for at least 4 generations in my family. That said, I did grow up in a native neighborhood just down the street from my tribe's main reservation, and many of my neighbors, classmates, family members, friends were native. I thought that most people were native until the age of 18, when I began my studies at Michigan Tech, where there are students from around the world, some of whom told me I was the first native person they had ever met. And they let me know that we're actually only 2% of the United States population. From thinking that we're the vast majority to 2% was mind-blowing. And it helped encourage me to dig more deeply into what does it mean to be native. And that led me to the importance of revitalizing the Ojibwe language, learning the Ojibwe language for myself, bringing it back to my family. I'm not a fluent speaker, but I've been learning off and on for more than a dozen years. Our language is not just alive, but it's growing, it's strengthening, and I think with continued hard work, we'll get to a place where many, if not all films, are dubbed or produced in Ojibwe. If you've seen A New Hope, you have the rebel forces, and they're trying to take on the evil empire and protect themselves. And I've been thinking lately about how my ancestors, our ancestors, have been rebels themselves, protecting the language against onslaught, and taking our ceremonies underground, taking our language underground when necessary to protect them. And even when it was dangerous, even when it was illegal. And today, now that it is not illegal and it's welcome, we can bring it out into the open more. We're living in Ojibwe country, Anishinaabe-Waki, and it wasn't that long ago that anybody who lived here, whether they're Ojibwe or not, native or not, to get things done, they had to know and speak Ojibwe. And I want to see the Ojibwe language be in an everyday space again. I personally would really love to see people be able to shop in Ojibwe, to be able to go to school in Ojibwe, to watch films in Ojibwe, in addition to ceremony. So it all started with the application process. First we had to apply using their software that they provided us. my application was accepted and I was invited to audition. I auditioned for several characters, and doing so, I had to record in my own home and speak the lines in Ojibwe. What they provided was a translated script, as well as clips from the film in English, as well as dubbed Ojibwe. An elder had provided some pronunciation guide, if you will. And that helped us who are auditioning to pronounce the Ojibwe. And so I sent my recordings in. They asked me for a second audition, this time live over Zoom with a director and one of her assistants. And I did that interview over Zoom, and I read the first line that she asked me to. She gave me a few suggestions on what to do in a second go. I took those suggestions to heart. I read the line again, and she said, "I've seen enough, I've heard enough. I like what you're doing here. I'm going to give you a role." Soon after, they gave me instructions to the studio. So it's an 8-hour drive from where I'm currently living in Washburn, Wisconsin. So I made it to Winnipeg. I studied my lines intensely, and I thank my friend Sarah for offering a little guidance along the way. And I made it to the studio, and we had a 1-hour slot. Time is money with Disney. And I made it into the sound booth, and in the room next door, listening in on their headphones, were an audio team, the director, as well as a first language fluent elder. So in case there was need for guidance in my pronunciation, he could offer it. The director was there, of course, to help with any emotional intonation guidance in that realm. So I gave my lines. It was a fun time. We laughed hard. And then before I knew it, the time was done. And after the recording, I went and I talked with some of the production team and learned about the distribution process and the need for news pieces to help drum up support, drum up interest in this incredible milestone of a project. I really hope that this grand milestone, this huge milestone in Hollywood history, in Ojibwe revitalization, our journey at revitalizing Ojibwe language, that it really strikes people. This is the first Disney film dubbed in Ojibwe, and I believe the first major Hollywood film dubbed in Ojibwe. And I hope that Star Wars: A New Hope can inspire more people, including young people, to continue learning the Ojibwe language or to begin learning the Ojibwe language. So anybody who is interested in rewatching or watching for the first time Star Wars: A New Hope, but in the Ojibwe language, this will be a great opportunity for them to introduce themselves. So I hope audience members can appreciate how our ancestors worked so hard to get us to this point right now. And we could take what we have and run with it. I hope to see all future films either dubbed or produced in the Ojibwe language. Gigamina goes, Mamandao Wizuin. May the Force be with you.